Hello, I'm Brian Pendergraft, and I'm an attorney for real estate investors. And this presentation on limited liability companies for investors, the basics, and the pros and the cons. I thought I would try something new for this video. I thought I would try doing a slideshow. So let me know what you think of the new format in the comments. If I should keep it, maybe I should go back to recording me. Let me know. And if you could share this on if you could share this presentation on social media using hashtag Pendergraft, that would be great. If you have any questions or anything, you can find me at Pendergraft Firm on pretty much across all social media. Disclaimer: this is for general informational purposes only. This is not legal advice. For legal advice, please contact an experienced attorney in your jurisdiction. Again, this is not legal advice. In order to understand limited liability companies for real estate investors, we must first understand limited liability companies in general. So, what is the primary purpose of a limited liability company? To limit liability. It's right in the name. But this is a principle that is easiest for me to explain by examples. So, this is an example of what would happen if someone was sued and they did not have limited liability. So when someone does not have a limited liability company, or they just start a business, they just start selling something, they have what is called a sole proprietorship. Now let's say a woman named Brianna just starts making and selling hair products, and she does not form a limited liability company. So her and her business are one and the same. So if Brianna's hair product causes a woman's hair to fall out, the the bald woman can sue Brianna personally. And say if the woman sues Brianna and gets a judgment against her for $100,000, and she does not have any assets other than her house that is worth $100,000, then the woman can essentially she can exercise her judgment against Brianna, and then she can take her house in order to satisfy that judgment. So that is an example of what would happen if someone does not have a limited liability company, or if they have a sole proprietorship, or they have no limited liability. Now we'll take this same situation, except Brianna now has a limited liability company that she uses to sell her hair products. So we're going to call her business Brianna LLC. So Brianna sells products through her hair company, Brianna LLC. Brianna and her business are not one and the same. The woman gets a judgment against Brianna LLC for $100,000. But Brianna LLC only has $10,000 worth of assets. The woman can still take the assets that are inside Brianna LLC, but she cannot go outside of Brianna LLC and to try to get what she personally owns. So if Brianna has a $100,000 house that she owns personally, that's not owned by the business, and she has correctly separated her business activity from her personal activity, then her $100,000 house is safe. So that is the primary purpose and benefit of using a limited. Now here's all right, now moving on. Now that we understand how LLCs are used for businesses in general, here's examples of how they are used by real estate investors. And the first example I'm going to use is what I call the investment property LLC, which essentially works as a holding company for an investment property. And here's an example of how a landlord can use an investment property LLC. Say a landlord has a massive rental portfolio of 300 rental properties, and they put each one into their own LLC. The tenant at rental property number 300 sues the landlord and wins a judgment against rental property LLC number 300 for $5 million. The tenant can only recover against the assets in LLC number 300. Rental properties numbers 1 through 299 are safe from the judgment. So this so the landlord can still keep making money. And here's an example of how a rehabber can use an investment property LLC. Say a rehabber finds a distressed property. The rehabber then buys the property using a newly formed LLC. They can fix up the house, and then they can use the LLC to sell the house, or they can just sell the LLC with the in its entirety with the house in it. The benefit here is that none of the rehab was done using the investor's personal name, and this limits the risk of the rehabber. All right, so now that we've covered investment property LLCs, the next LLC we'll cover is what I like to call the real estate business LLC. And the real estate business LLC works just like a general business LLC or any other business LLC. And so it works just like Brianna's LLC that I used in the example earlier. Except Brianna's LLC sells hair products, but a real estate business LLC sells real estate. And an example of a real estate business LLC is Express Home Buyers. They buy and sell houses. All right, multi-member LLCs for real estate investors. So multi-member LLCs can be used by investors to form investment property LLCs or to form real estate business LLCs. An example of a multi-member LLC is two investors buying and holding an investment rental property and splitting the rent or splitting the rental profits together. Teamwork makes the dream work. Now, multi-member LLCs come in two flavors: member managed LLCs and manager managed LLCs. And by the strict definition, member managed LLCs are controlled by its members, and manager managed LLCs are controlled by an appointed manager. But in practice, no matter what type of LLC you have to have an operating agreement, and in this operating agreement, it defines how the member managed organization or the manager managed or the manager management is done within that organization, and it can be very different from one organization to the next. For example, one member managed operating agreement could have one person who has a vote that is worth 5 times as much as someone as another member's. For this reason, I highly recommend using an attorney to negotiate for your best interest when you are forming a multi-member LLC and going into a deal with another investor. And here you can see, Batman and Robin. They are the dynamic duo. They are a team, but one person has, a lot more say than the other. So, which can be perfectly fine if that's what you intend to do or want to do. Here's things that an operating agreement for real estate investors should cover. What is the purpose of the limited liability company? Is this just a single deal? Or are we going to do multiple deals? Or are we going in business together? Are we forming a business together? Um, what is each investor's contribution? What is their role? How much money is each person supposed to put in there? And what exactly are they supposed to do? How will profits and how will losses be split? Are we coming in 50-50? Or is it going to be, I don't know, 20-80? I mean, this can all be negotiated and discussed. How will decisions be made? Will I be Batman? Will you be Robin? Or will this be equally shared? Or But what would happen if, one person says, I want to do A, another person says that I want to do B? Then how will the decision be made? What is the exit strategy? All right, so what are we going to do here? Are we going to sell this property, or I don't know, whatever you want the exit strategy to be? How will the accounting be done? Or who's responsible for the accounting? Will this be done on an accrual basis, or this be done on a cash basis? However you want, who's going to actually do the accounting? And a duty of loyalty. That's something that is very important. And a duty of loyalty is if you have a duty of loyalty in a real estate investing company, then you could end up, having to run each deal that you do get, by your each deal that you do get outside of the company. You might be obligated under your duty of loyalty to bring it back to your partner and do the deal with them. So that might be great if you intend to start a business with someone and work together. But it might not be so great if you just want to do a single deal, and this isn't someone that you want to permanently do business with, or you don't want to owe a duty of loyalty to. Another benefit of using a limited liability company when you have multiple partners is what I call partner limited liability protection. So business partners without a that do not have a limited liability company are in what is called a general partnership. And like a sole proprietorship, you can be personally liable for the business's liabilities. But this has the added bonus of you being able to be held liable for your partner's liabilities. So your partner could go out and make mistakes, and you could be held liable for them if you do not have limited liability protection. So that's a very good reason to form a business if you are going to be doing business with a partner. And here, this little image over here, see this guy in jail for a crime that he didn't do, but his partner did, and he didn't have limited liability protection, so now he has to suffer the consequences. You don't want to be this guy. All right, so here are pros and cons of limited liability companies the other than limited liability and partnering up with your friends. All right, so here's some pros that you can do. You get business write-offs or business deductions. You get to have a separate bank account for your business. You get to establish a business line of credit, and you get to look more official. Check out Brian Pendergraft versus the Pendergraft Firm LLC. Pendergraft Firm LLC looks a lot more official. And here are the cons of having a limited liability company. So the biggest con is that they are not foolproof. In the worst case scenario, a creditor can do what is called piercing the corporate veil to get to bypass your business and get to your personal assets anyway. This generally happens if the person cannot show that his business and person are two different things, which is why you have to be make sure that you keep the two activities, business and personal, separate. Another con is that a business home buying loan may be more expensive than a personal home buying loan. Um, Another con is they cost money to maintain. I know in Maryland I have to file a every LLC has to file a personal property tax return of $100 just to file it. Um, let's see, they have rules that they have to operate by, and you actually have to operate by these rules. Your LLC may require you to have require you to do certain meetings, and you have to actually take minutes of these meetings. So this could takes time to do, and something that you have to do. Most states also have miscellaneous additional business taxes that you'll end up paying. I mean, every now and then I just get a bill from like the county that says, you have to pay $20 because you operate for the privilege of operating a business in this county. And lastly, companies are considered their own separate entities, and because they are their own separate entity, they need to have their own lawyer in most situations, and when they and for court appearances, and this can be very expensive. I know. I want to say in most jurisdictions, when it comes to landlord tenant court, you may be able to uh, have non-attorney help, but at least where I practice, in Prince George's County, even in landlord tenant court, they like you to have they like uh, the for the LLCs to be represented by like actual attorneys as opposed to like a rent court manager. But in just about every other situation, if your LLC gets sued, you must have an attorney appear, on behalf of that LLC, and that can be very expensive. All right, so that just about covers, LLCs for real estate investors. So, what would you like to know more about next? Just let me know in the comments. I have some ideas here. I have how to start an LLC, S corporations for real estate investors, how to wholesale an LLC, an in-depth look at operating agreements, the law behind real estate wholesaling and assigning contracts, the law behind master leasing, or if there's anything else that you guys can think of that you would like to see a presentation on, please let me know. And if anyone in your team is looking to form an LLC for real estate investors, and if you are located in Maryland or DC, then I would like to help you. My name is Brian Pendergraft, and you can contact me at 301-200-0777. You can shoot me an email at info@tpf.legal, or you can find me on social media and DM me at Pendergraft Firm. And thanks for watching. Take care.